Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up.
This is their last chance to immortalize themselves into the elite Final Four. This is their last chance to get the grudges out and take full advantage of what happened last week at Martinsville Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series live here on PTM Racing TV and their final race of the season before the championship battle at Auto Club next week. This is Daytona International Speedway. Hi, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Troy, joining you guys here today, right now, as we are currently getting set up for the action here, right live on the show. This is a stacked lineup here, to say the least, and a field of hungry drivers looking to come out on top and looking to come out from the battles at hand that they faced off with earlier this season. It will certainly something to see, presented in part by Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and 5-Star Graphics. Without them and out you fans at home, none of this would be possible. And we're about to find out what exactly is going to be possible down here on the track, as these drivers currently are being put up for the warm-up session right now for their practice before they get ready for the action here. Qualifying has concluded and already been completed, so it's just now a matter of the drivers getting around the track, and one of them that's getting around the track right now is always in that number 7, David E. Brown. David, we literally watched you at Martinsville Speedway last week go through pretty much the highs and lows of a short track. Now, going on to the biggest of all tracks, I gotta believe the nerves are definitely kicking a little bit in for you today.
Yeah, that was a wild race last weekend. That was a lot of fun, but this one's just going to be just as topsy-turvy, right? It's anybody's game out here. So, survival, keep the arrow on the car as long as possible. We get a quick repair, which is nice, but boy, anything can happen at Daytona, and I'm hoping whatever happens goes my way. That's for sure.
One position out and only 14 points out of that position here. I know this number 7's pretty bad fast and pretty tough to tame out here, but I gotta ask you, man, I mean, really, do you think maybe Lady Luck will be with you today on this track?
I'm gonna make Lady Luck ride with me.
Confident words from the number 7, David E. Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Best of luck, buddy.
Thank you.
He is confident. He is certainly ready to upheld and ready to fight it down as well. But let's take it down now and talk to some of our other boys here. They're piling up the number 83 is Brandon Medford here. And Brandon, bit of a wild little go, a little bit of a wild little race here on your hands here. I know you've been pretty good on the 1.5 miles and the 2 mile longs, but now on the big flight tracks, I know these cars can get a little bit loose. How is the control and handling of these next gens?
Yeah, they're so-so. I mean, you got to have a couple cars to push. When you get on someone's bumper, they do get a little loose, so that's going to be fun for sure.
It is indeed, and 2 spots out as well here. Judging by the points total, it's only about 25 if I'm counting right here on my end. That is separating you out from that final 4 spot. I have to believe you have a little bit of nerves kind of kicked in to try to knock these guys down a peg or two.
Yeah, man, I think the only way in is going to be a win, so we're going to have to be there at the end, and we'll make it happen.
Certainly indeed. Well, nevertheless here, Brandon, best of luck down there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Brandon Mefford, ladies and gentlemen, the 83, taking some time to chat with us here as the field is currently getting settled off and ready to go here. Take a listen in to some of our other boys here in this championship hunt, of course. Guys like the number 2, Neil Quick here. And Neil, I've got to believe, definitely has a few words to say. We'll listen in with him now. Neil Quick, good to have you back on board here today, sir. And I know last week was definitely not the way you wanted it to play out, but now here in a must-win scenario at Daytona and hope for some breaks here, I got a feeling you're probably hoping for the best with Lady Luck tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if Lady Luck's going to be on my side, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be on my own side.
You'll be on your own side, really piloting this thing around here. And I got to ask you, I mean, how much of that draft and that push really has been kind of giving these cars a little bit of that shaken model that we've seen before? Because it seems like these cars have a different kind of temper when it comes to pushing around here.
Yeah, they do. They almost have a little bit of a bubble sometimes, and you got to break that bubble and hopefully have somebody to work with you to drag the brake to get to you. And then once you get linked up, you can get going. But just got to make sure you keep it flush and don't hit the corners or hurt somebody.
For sure there. I'll nevertheless hear Neil. Any final words before we get you onto the track?
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake all the way. All right, let's go for it. Best of luck down there.
Thanks, man.
Neil Quick, ladies and gentlemen, you hear him loud, you hear him proud. He is ready, but I guarantee you these drivers may not be ready for him. He is focused and determined and looking to make this a must-win scenario and possibly give him a chance to get in. Lap 45, lap 70 will be our stages today, race fans, here as the field is currently getting cleared up. Here we are now settled down onto the track. We're ready to get back to it. As currently I am making sure our overlay system is working properly, which I think we'll just have to wait and see and make sure. If it's not, we'll fix it. Anyway, race fans, time has come, and this is the grand opening. Here it is, the iRacing IROC Series, presented in part by R&R Racewear for your grading order tonight. This is your elite field of drivers. Aaron Smith, the number 1 will be the number 1 starter. His outside is Brian McCann, the number 3. And number 2, it's going to be Troy Radford, the 94. His outside being the 12, that is Tim Schofield. Number 3 is Kevin McCann. And the 33 is outside is Cook Quick in the 54. And row number 4, Ray Radford pilots in that 47 with Neil Quick in the number 2. And row 5 sees David E. Brown. And the 7 is outside Ed is Chris Mefford in the 46. And row number 6 is Brian Reich in the 112 with his outside being the number 5, Chris Wally. Row number 7 is going to be Jeff Napier in the number 40 with Brandon Mefford in the 83. Your final starter of it all, the 34, Doug Wysocki. Race fans, it's time, it's time, it's time. You want to talk about elite moments, you want to talk about those big Game 7 moments, you want to talk about all those big chances and opportunities to strike hard and strike well with. This is literally it right here, folks. This is as big as it gets for these drivers. 3 or 4 drivers are in the running for this championship win and the possible opportunity to take home a top 4 championship ordeal. The only way to get to that, though, is to frankly push and shove and run and bump and give it everything she's got to make it to the ultimate spot. There are no gimmies in this race. This plate track style of racing with the Next Gen Cup car has proven successful before with some incredible battles. Are we going to see it again? Are we going to see a huge, huge momentum boost and a change up in the positions between these drivers? The final 4 right now: Aaron Smith, Brian McCann, Chris Mefford, Troy Radford. If we end the night here, that's how it will play out. David E. Brown went 1 spot up last week. Brandon Mefford went down 1. Neil Quick went up 1, and then Tim Schofield went down 1 as well. Those drivers are separated out by a bit of a distance, a bit of a points. Then right now, this field is about as close cornered and close centered off as you can get to them. We are going to bring him right around town off of turn 4 into the front straightaway. This time on by. Let the lights come on and let the green charge. Here we go. Lap 45 to get to that distance will set the field in and set the pace up. But who will be able to come out with a big bonus shot, and who will be able to come out away looking out on top? Well, out of the gate, Ryan McCann will get the early start. No surprise here. I'm used to seeing that 3 up ahead of folk scopes, but here at Daytona, it's kind of sacrilegious to have that 3 ahead of the whole field. Hey, I'm just saying, folks. I'm just living out the old days. Power and speed being put to full use and full display here. Tim Schofield, the number 12, going up top side. The number 94, Troy Radford. The rest of the field hunting back to the pack. This is going to be something you're going to see for a little bit in this race. You're going to see some maneuvers to the front. You'll see a few guys kind of punching their way around. Then you'll see a lot of heavy hitters starting to make for a little bit of a break or two, trying to get up to the other guys in the field. And that big green slide there you see on the tints of those cars, that is going to tell you who is in the hunt for the Final Four. They're still in the playoffs, if you will. And this Game 7 moment really dictates everything, in my opinion, better than it ever has before. And really, I tell you, these last 2 races, they have been the most chaotic. They have been the most crazy, to say the least, in terms of points racing, in terms of the actual racing. It's just something else. It really is. Aaron Smith faltering back. There's one thing he does not need to do is put himself into a bad spot. He's already pretty much locked in to the points race, considering he is already ahead of the closest guy by 19 points. And he has been pretty much hanging in there, keeping everyone in their charge and in their play. Brian McCann, though, went through an absolute war zone out there, though, and he has been whole fight every which way to Sunday. But he is 19 spots up in position, so, or 19 points ahead, below of Aaron Smith, and a pretty good margin ahead of the other boys. So he's pretty much a lock as long as he doesn't get into major circumstances or situations here. But for Chris Mefford, Troy Radford, that spot is definitely open to the public and definitely open to any of these other guys out here. So this is going to be a pressurized point of, do you go for the stages and go for the points there to get the extra bonus points allowed it to, or do you try to play it safe for the entire race until you get to the end, where then you pretty much have to force everybody else to get only so many amount of bonus points. The guys like Brandon Mefford, though, and of course David E. Brown, Troy Radford, and them, I would say honestly, look for them either in stage 1 or stage 2 to go to the top to try to get the maximum amount. Stage 1, the implications for the first place driver gets 6 points. Second will get 3 points, and then there will be 4 points, and then there'll be 2 points for third. It just kind of is a little bonus guaranteed. In stage 2, 10 points on the line, 6, then 3 for the top seeds there. So that could and will make a difference or two. Every point is going to matter. Then comes also being a hard charger. Then comes also having the most laps. It's definitely a way to get around it. It's a tough circumstance to really deal with. In the news as well, we heard about Kimi Räikkönen joining the tracks here on the NASCAR Cup Series here coming at Watkins Glen. So we do wish him nothing but the best luck here from us in PTM Racing TV. It's good to see some of the other classes of drivers out there getting a chance to really flex their wit, flex their might, and showcase their talents on the track as much as we see these guys in the virtual world do it. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about that too, and what are you thinking. And so let's have a little chat down in the chat as well while we're at it. So plenty of things to chat about and plenty of things to see here on the show. We don't just do the call of the action. We like to chat with you fans as well. And speaking of chatting with the fans, looks like Neil Quick, he chatted with us earlier and you heard listening very carefully. He is pretty much in a fever pitch spot to have to do good today. And he got his family member Cook Quick right up to the front already. He's already playing at something here. He's trying to get the stage points already, I can tell. Neil really having probably, in my opinion, the absolute worst playoffs positioning and playoffs points battle of all the drivers for one reason. He was literally the regular season runner-up, almost taking a season championship away in the regular season from the likes of that number 3 in Brian McCann, but Brian was able to march and charge late into the season or late into that run and end up taking that full control. Neil kept faltering and not having as many close second place positions or third or fourth or even wins. And as soon as it kind of bogged him down, he was in trouble. Now having to face the absolute pressurized point here of these drivers in this position, he has to see maybe if there's a way to work around this kind of carnage and this kind of mess out on the track. Field just pacing around, maybe getting a feel for everything that's going on. I think a lot of them really trying to strategize above all else, just staying out of trouble. Yeah, remember remember what I talked about last week again with it being a short track, then having to go to this big track configuration. There were going to be quite a few grudges and a few positions being put up ahead of some of these guys and really put into that momentum. Well, one of those grudges I was talking about earlier, the reason why I brought in Neil Quick to give you guys a little word on about that, was the fact that the Meffers and the Quicks have not exactly been seeing eye to eye due to that little circumstance there that Chris Meffer kind of threw everybody in the Cook's eyes here. So the 46 Chris Mefford still in that championship hunt with those boys, and really in their opinion, he's the one that possibly could have cost him it all. So now it becomes a shootout and a race out here on the track, trying to make things work to their advantage and look for their positions. But I guarantee you, do you see those Meffords or the Clicks anywhere near each other, I think we might have to see Magic kind of falling around on the track, because there might be some leftover aggression for Martinsville. Not saying that it's going to happen, or just that it's a possibility. You know, Daytona is not exactly going to be easy with this next-gen car. And the shape of these things too, and the way they push, the way they run, they make it even more difficult to even master the drafting, if you will. There are bubbles down there you can kind of work with and conform to, but most drivers will tell you firsthand the best way to get around this track is simple: just don't lose the draft. Aaron Smith, the number 1 right now, currently holding out on the fight and holding into the fray there with the 83 of Brandon Bedford here as Bedford continues to work top side of the track here. One of the only guys to do so would be the number 112, I believe, of Brian Reich right behind him. Yes, that is indeed the 12R Brian Reich here, or the 112, depending on how you see it on your end here. I'm seeing it as the 12R, but this will show you the 112, of course. Good to see Brian Reich back out on the track too. It's been a while since we've heard and really seen him, and this cat really knows how to put on a show and put on a battle here when he can, and he's going to try to do that today as he walks on with this incredibly tough field. So close together, yet really no one's so far off from the truth or any far off from the other here. And you did hear earlier too, they do have one fast repair. Now normally under circumstantial races, there are no fast repairs given at all, because they treat this more as a legitimate contest and as a legitimate race like you would normally in NASCAR does. So what they did is they basically gave him one fast repair because it is Daytona. There is a championship stake on the line. And also, there is, well, let's just say, a handful of positions you can find yourself in to where you didn't even try to cause a wreck or you didn't try to get into a wreck and it just completely cost you. So they were nice enough to give them all one fast pair, but I guarantee you more than anything, these guys are going to be still trying to push their limits and trying to test their luck later and later into this race today. 14 out of 100 laps completed so far. Remember, lap 40 will be stage 1's break-in. Stage 2 will end at lap 75, and that's a green flag run from there. Well, I did say earlier on, Brandon Medford would be one of those cats you got to watch out for because he needs to get the bonus points. He's up on the outside right now looking to try to get there, but in a way, I kind of wonder, is he staying away from Neil and Cook Quick? Because we talked about it earlier, him and Chris Medford, they pretty much kind of have a target on their back as much as Neil Quick does when it comes to getting into that final four. They put themselves into a bit of a bad position, a bit of a bad spot here. Simply just due to the pure aggression and pure momentum and strategizing that it takes when it comes to running at Martinsville. Drivers starting to shuffle around a little bit though. The intensity and the patience now waiting amongst themselves. This is the scariest part about trying to race this track out, trying to battle this out here, is literally knowing that at any point, one wrong push, one wrong turn, one wrong move, and it could be the entire end of your race. Patience levels tested and drivers being pushed to their limits. Field's still working their way around right now, currently trying to find some speed up under the hoods here. And you can see guys moving up the outside here. Aaron Smith in the number one kind of leading up a pack or two. Maybe looking to play a little bit of spoiler and keep the trace the same way he wants to look at right now in the points. Brian McCann definitely has the same kind of ideal in the session here, but of course he needs to just get a few extra points in there and make sure he secures his run and his championship hopes, because he's got to be very careful down there with what's going on with the track and what plays out in the layout. Field coming up pretty quickly on the outside. You see a little bit of momentum pulsing there from the 8 of number 1 of Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith there up on top, gets Brandon Medford to follow behind, takes full control. Chris Medford in the 46 up top side, and here we go. Could be some tensions looming up. Cook Quick on the bottom, and Neil Quick right with him trying to push up as Smith takes the race lead away. Every driver for themselves here, not trying to get themselves into trouble and trying to avoid trouble when they can. But you can see Medford slowing down tremendously here. Chris Medford lost a lot of that draft, lost that push, and you can just see how important that draft is going to be. That draft may be the absolute saving grace and necessity here that these boys do not realize. And you see now the shuffling begins. You see drivers either choosing the outside or using the inside. And Kevin McCann, Brian McCann right now choosing to go up top as well. Aaron Smith going to the bottom lane here. Brian Reich and the 112 are going to go in there as well. They'll go right up into that edge and right up into the playing field. Brandon Medford now in the 83 will take the race lead away here, but for how long will he be able to hold on to it though? He finds himself in a very precarious situation again with those quicks there right with him. Coming up on the outside though, here comes Neil Quick, the number 2. Maybe trying to avoid the number 83 there below him and Brandon Medford as he got Chris Wallace kind of pushing and shoving around. Again, this is the one thing that is good about this draft package is you can push with 2 cars. You got to be very careful on where you line them up and hit them from, because these things can get loose and they can be troublesome. Wally watching very precariously to hit only at a certain spot and only at certain areas. Neil Quick gets put right up ahead. And Neil taking the race lead away from Brandon Medford here. Medford put on the bubble, now in a little bit of a troublesome zone. Wally going straight to the bottom. Medford giving him another opening and a chance to sneak his way in. Now going up with Chris Wally, the 5 of Wally going up top. Looks like he didn't want to wait around too much as Al Neil Quick goes into pit road. Pit stops being made for the Quick fam and Jeff Napier in that number 40. Daytona Talladega draft train now being put to full use here with 24 out of 100 laps there in. Chris Wally, Brandon Medford, Troy Radford, Chris Medford, Brian McCann are your top 5 right now. Field is starting to be a little bit more cluttered around, be put more into your unique situations here. And these guys, they've got to just keep the pride and keep the momentum at large. They can't let openings get to them here. They've got to stay on that charge. McCann's going in. Looks like Schofield will join them. And Ray Radford, David E. Brown, Ray Radford right now, the only drivers kind of out of the packs, if you will. Although David is right there with Medford, looking to try to draft back at him and catch up to it. Ray Radford, though, well, you can just see from this distance here, he's lost the draft and he's lost all that momentum and all that build-up just to even try to get up to him. But thankfully for him, he knows the stage caution's coming and he knows he'll get some help from the guys that are coming out on the track there, like Doug Wysocki in the 34. While he's staying at the bottom, Brandon Medford wasting no time at all. Goes back top side, looking for a pass, looking for a run. And he's going to get a good run there on the outside. Once again, charges it right up and takes the pass up and down. Laps fading and starting to come a little bit more. Wants to really clamor for it and really take control of it. Pit stops now look like they will finally be put up for the rest of the pack here. Everybody that has not been in pit road now enters in finally at last. And the guys up ahead here that are looking to use the stage brakes to their advantage include the likes of the 3 of Brian McCann and Kevin McCann, the 33. Brian, the only thing he needs to worry about here is, frankly, simply put, just get the stage points and get the points necessary to just completely lock himself into that final 4. He's not out of the woods yet, but if he can get a stage 1 win, pretty much that's all but going to seal his fate. The maximum amount of points that any of these drivers can get here wouldn't be nearly enough for him to be taken down from. So McCann, if he wins stage 1 or he gets even at the minimum of 6 points, this one's all but wrapped up. It's going to be his for the taking. He will be in the final 4. Aaron Smith is the only driver in this race, barring any completely big disasters, is locked in to the championship. And Kevin McCann right now knows this, and so does Brian here. That's why these guys very on edge and very strategized here. Ray Radford, the 94 here, trying to get back up there with Chris Wally in the 5 as well. He was trying to keep up with Schofield and them and the rest of the field, while the quick boys here faltered way behind the pack here, way down on the charge. Didn't quite keep up their way there in. Different packs, different scenarios, and a lot of angles here really to use from. It seems though the strategy of Brian McCann, Kevin McCann, Tim Schofield seems to be the preferred line, preferred end. But again, Wally, if he can get pushed around there a little bit by Radford, he might have a little bit of speed to get up there. And it looks like Wally's actually going to falter back here. He's going to let the boys do their own thing and charge up. He's going to need to hurry up and catch that draft if he wants any chance to kind of keep up this pack here, though. You can just see just how far this growing pain, this growing position is for some of these guys. Really 3 on back, the 4th boys on back of that 3rd place position. A full 6.5 seconds back here, and they know laps are winding down. Brian McCann is literally in the driver's seat to lock up a top 4 berth to Auto Club Speedway. Him and Aaron Smith this entire season have just been absolutely picture perfect when it comes to their battles and it comes to their racing mentality. But at the end of the day, there was no chances to give me and there was no chances to lose. They had to go for broke every single time they went out there and every single time they raced. And here's the thing, Brian McCann had more laps on the track than Smith, but what Smith got ahead of him was the poles and the wins. 2 wins versus 2 poles and 8 wins. But Brian McCann with 10 poles and 4 wins, it's just a completely different scenario and a crazy little position to be put into, but that is how it plays out sometimes. It's been wild, wild, and crazy this entire season. But those bonus points of Brian McCann still weren't enough to get ahead of Smith. Smith's winner circle checks and his winner percentage have been pretty much the lone saving grace of it all. Troy Radford right now has got to be thinking to himself, man, I could have had some bonus points, could have had some extra points to help me out with this championship battle. And Schofield over there has really just kind of made things so difficult and so unbelievably uncontrollable to really work around. Granted, there were only about 3 laps back of one another here. That is still the biggest problem, is again the fuel run's not going to be enough for Brian, Kevin, Tim Schofield to worry about here, especially now with being pushed and drafted around there a little bit. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a bad thing. Stage number 2 could be an equalizer here for these guys, because here's the thing. If whatever they don't use right now, when they go into pit road, they can put in as much fuel as they need to and actually have to take less time in pit road to actually get more positions and quicker up on the edge. Maybe that might be enough time to really work around and actually deal with the later on here. All depends on how the drivers want to do it and how they want to fight it out here. Neil and Quick right now, still no surprise here, working together. Aaron Smith just hanging way back at the back here again. I think he wants to play spoiler and win another race here, but I mean, if you're on that number 1 right now, I would just point blank think to myself, I don't want nothing to do with messing around these guys. Just stay in a draft or stay with somebody and just leave this car alone. If you want the win, you can do it later on in this race. Ray Radford and the number 47 going to be put a lap down as the boys have to get around him here up on the inside to the outside. Radford, though, looks like he's going to get a bit of that draft help, get a little bit of work around these boys. Or will he actually? Looks like he's still losing speed off him. Can't quite catch Schofield's run, and he's not driving in a perfect line to get up to him. Can't keep that door open here. You have to grab it. You have to get a grip of it quickly if you want any chance. Schofield keeping the throttle under the rhythm and keeping the speed under the track. Just trying to hang it down. Laps here, 3 laps left in stage number 2. Troy Radford, Chris Medford, David E. Brown, Brandon Medford, and Chris Wally in that second pack here. They were doing everything they could to get up there to the McCann Schofield, but that is not the case here. It's kind of a bit of a 180 here from what we saw at Martinsville last week because of how quick it was then and there, but you got to remember that when you're on a short track, you've got to strike big and you got to strike quick before being put a lap down. But on a big track like this, you need to literally time and perfect the strategies if you want any chance to survive. laps now here for the McCann boys and Schofield here. The field is just spread out so far from one another here and so far out of the playing fields here. It is a complete and utter 180 to say the least. One more lap to go. Stage 1, Brian McCann, Kevin McCann, Schofield strategizing above all else on the laps and how they were going to affect it. But for Brian McCann, this one means a little bit more than just that, because with this stage points, bonus points, the number 3 is going to now put himself into the top 4, the final 4, entering into Auto Club Speedway. He will join Aaron Smith for sure now in the number 1 in the next leg. Off of Stern number 4, one more time by. Give the man his due, give the man his credit. He's going to take the stage win and the bonus points that go with it. Well, I think I might have accidentally made that speech one lap a little too soon, because he's still got to get around the track one more time here. So he just needs to get around off turn 4. Then he's making sure he's got this one. Looks like Kevin McCann going up outside here. Looks like he's just kind of making things a little interesting here. Doesn't really matter too much though, because it's going to be all over with there for stage number 1. Stage number 2 now will be put on the show. Oh, hold on a minute. Whoa. Well, stage number 2 again came up right as caution came out, but what the heck happened to that number 7, David E. Brown? That race nearly got thrown out the window because of something here. I'm not sure if Chris Wally accidentally just didn't know where he was at or what went wrong there, but looked like Wally just found himself in a very unique little situation there. Let's take a look at the replay on the cockpit. Drove right up and actually flipped the 7 of David E. Brown. Well, it looked like he didn't even realize he was steering up there actually. It looked like the steering wheel was straight, but the wheel was going somewhere else, and Brown nearly having his race costed right before our eyes. That is a huge break there for him. At least he'll be A-okay to continue on, but makes you wonder if he'll be able to keep doing that a little bit more. Now joining me here in the call list, ladies and gentlemen, here is the number 46, Chris Medford. And Medford, you know, we talked about how difficult it was last week to have to be put in this position here with the way these points races, this race goes. Now at Daytona, this is a do or die situation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why Wally likes it so much. He loves these super speedways, but they definitely throw a twist in the mix.
Throws a twist in the mix here, and you know, the short tracks to then the big tracks here. I mean, I gotta believe that it definitely, besides being a twist, it really kind of challenges you drivers more as a set of competitors than it does really just as mentality wise, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You just got to pick the right lines, pick the right runs, take the right runs. It's still too early for me to really want to push somebody aside drafting and that stuff. So we're just trying to survive to the end and then see what we can get going on.
For sure there. Medford, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Chris Medford, ladies and gentlemen, number 46 here, trying to get himself into a points race hunt, into a points race battle here. We'll talk real quick with Jeff Napier here. Then the number 40 here as he now joins me here on the call here. Jeff, good to hear from you again, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, bud. Been a while since we've kind of chit-chat with you.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I know it's only been a week, but I mean, a week feels like forever a day these days, man. Doesn't it?
I'm sorry, say that again. They were talking to the other channel over here.
I was going to say, like, I know it's only been a week, but a week still feels like forever a day, doesn't it?
Kind of does, doesn't it?
I don't know, it just kind of feels like it, but anyway, speaking of a week, I mean, you know, bit of a crazy little scenario here. We've seen quite the obstacles and quite the tracks here on your end with this field and this driving style. I mean, what were you going into tonight? You're thinking, well, if I was going to go for a race win or anything like that, was this going to be the day, you think?
I never know. This is Daytona, and this is one of my better tracks. This and Talladega is my two favorites, of course, and the ISS as well. But yeah, I'm just kind of riding along, saving gas and stuff, trying to make it to the end here, and then hopefully got enough gas at the end to make it up there in front there and dice it up with them.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, here as you bring that number 40 back onto the track here, ready to field into position, wishing you the best of luck, bud.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. See you.
See you later. Jeff Napier, ladies and gentlemen, number 40 here, trying to maybe go for a little win and play a little bit of a spoiler to some of these boys, but for now, he's just cruising around here having a good track time, a good place in position. The race will continue on. We'll see more of it here when we come back off PTM Racing TV. Race fans, tonight's race brought to you in part by our friends at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, the official merch store and merchandise line for the IROC Challenge Series, as well as for the iRacing Series. Be sure to check them out at rnrracewear.com. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment. By simspeedshop.com. By Track Time Entertainment. And by 5-Star Graphics, a very big thank you from the iRacing IROC Challenge Series and from us here at PTM Racing TV. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning on in and coming on by and helping out with these crews and these drivers throughout this season. Lights are off on the pace car now, race fans. We're getting set to go here once more. The field set in place, set in motion, and some hard chargers and hard drivers ready to make some moves here, if you will. Field has been set back into position, now set up for the momentum booster off of turn number 4 to the front straightaway. The green flag back out. Stage number 2 now on the way. And remember, with the bonus points there for the number 3 of Brian McCann, he is now locked in. He's now locked in the final 4, so all he needs to do is just finish this race out. And really, this one's all but over with here. He doesn't have to worry about anybody trying to take that position away from him. Aaron Smith pretty much locked and loaded already from the sketch, so he's in. That leaves Radford and one of the Medfords, or Neil Quick, or David E. Brown to make the final cut. Positioning going to matter here, and placement of these drivers is going to be extremely, and I mean extremely crucial here to keep this one in play. Field starting to double file up a bit here. Now things starting to get a little bit more pressurized, a little bit more position based here. Neil Quick up on the outside with Cook Quick on his backside here as well. Brandon Medford, your race leader in the number 83. Trying to stay out of trouble, trying to keep himself in a very precarious situation here with Troy Radford behind him. When all is left behind, though, Troy Radford, I guarantee you, will not give two hoots about what he must do. There is a championship spot on the line and a championship on his mind. You have got to believe that he is dead set and focused to get that opportunity. And you can just see the distance here between these guys right now. Positioning more based on the fuel run and more set on what they're really wanting to go for and how they want to play it out. Momentum swaying more towards the Mefford's camp right now here than the quick camps here. But still kind of looking at it here from an overall position, it's a bit of a unique little position to be thrown into. And as I said earlier about the Quick family not having some speed right now, it looks like they may not have some speed, but they sure are getting close to disaster. Again, looks like they're not quite forgetting about that 46 of Chris Mefford. Cook and Neal literally down right on the side, almost kind of forcing Mefford to keep him in his place. Kind of drove around a little bit wobbly, a little loosey, but I think the 46, you heard him say earlier too, he said, I'm not going to be pushing or trying to shove anyone around right now. I'm more focused on one thing, try to survive. Onboard camera here on Troy Radford right now as he continues to dictate his pace, kind of dictate his momentum here with Brandon Mefford right on his front. Hard charge over the award after going to that number 83 with 13 spots up here for Mefford. And Neil Quick now insinuating himself here in the number 2, looking to try to make up from that strategy he had earlier on. You know, lap 75 will make the biggest difference here for this crew and this team if we can get it going. It's such a unique spot, though, to really be put into. When you think about everything that goes down on that track, goes down these cars, remember, these drivers are filing these speeds way over 193 miles per hour. Some of them hitting upwards of 197, 198 in that pure draft form, and some of them could just pop 200 right out of the gate when you least expect it. And with that snap lock steering I've mentioned before and how difficult it is to work with, troublesome of a unit to deal. Tim Schofield too, I think it really is something we need to mention about him, and that is this number 12 driver. You know, he all around had a very remarkable season, had a strong season. He's had chances, he's had opportunities, and you know, the funny thing is he's still in the playoff hunt, but he was kind of in a must-win scenario at the same time if he wanted to make it to the top of the mountain, top of the list here. Being in that A spot right now in the points race, his race this season is all but done and over with because he's 122 back behind the leader and literally a full, I'd say probably 100 points out of that top 4. So we're actually about 80 points out of the top 4. And there's just not enough points to get in there. So Schofield's season kind of came to an end, unfortunately, down at Martinsville Speedway with the way everything played out there. But But you know as well as anything, that 12 is not going to hold back. A must-win scenario could be in order here for him. And it's not a matter to make it in the top 4, it's just a matter of making things more and more interesting. Smith, the number 46, piling up on the outside. He's now making it work up to the 4. Chris Wally yet again playing a little spoiler here as he's actually not playing spoiler. He's trying to get his laps back. He is a lot of laps down right now. You know, this is going to become an elm party though for Chris Wally, Tallahassee, Florida. Not too far out there, of course, of Daytona Beach, Florida. And you know as well as anything, Wally, when he came out to today, his thought process was, in front of my hometown crowd, I need to at least make something of myself here to show that I can race with them. Unfortunately, though, his season not quite going the same way that his race has been today, which is pretty smooth. It's been a bit of a rocky road here for that 5. He had a chance in the points race and the points hunt to keep in that championship hunt, but as we've always said before, sometimes Lady Luck will deal you a bad line and a bad handle, and it makes things even more difficult. You're also still going up against some of the toughest and the best drivers in the entire series. Pit stops now being made up on the track here. Looks like we're going to have the Medfords, Bradford, Quicks, Brown, Wysocki, and all of them heading in. Aaron Smith light all alone there with Chris Wally, and Brian McCann, Tim Schofield, and Kevin McCann still pretty much just doing their own thing. These guys really want absolutely nothing to do with this mess down there, or any of those guys, man. They just love doing what they feel like, and that's about it. Now the boys getting passed up here as they come off of pit road. Definitely a bit of a ways back out though. Was the McCann boys. But it looks like the McCanns had actually headed it into pit road on lap 55. That's why they actually have so much speed kind of keeping up on the distance here. It looks like they're ready to make things a little bit interesting. So only a 1 lap difference separated those boys out there and the drivers from the top spots. Definitely a lot more unique strategies being put into effect and a lot of guys trying to work from that. Remember the A3 getting a great draft off, looking to try and mount the charge. Knows that he needs to stay focused, stay in the moment, stay in the rhythm. And you can just see that distance between those boys right now currently is stretching far and in between. Aaron Smith going to go way back into the pack here. Try to catch that draft quickly of the 54 Cook. Cook catches him just enough. Aaron will line up and he will be in position to take over, so he will now have a chance to draft with the boys. Coming up on about 16 laps remaining here, 6:17 in total though before we enter Alpha Stage number 2. Stage 2 has kept things a little bit more interesting and a little bit more revival lead wise, if you will. Quite a few guys right now looking to make some moves, make some runs here, but again, you just see everyone still being very, very patient and optimistic themselves. They don't want to push the agenda too quickly here. They know it's still too early despite 40 laps left in this entire race. You got to remember though, a lot of these guys put into their spots, put in their shoes. Some of them don't need to take huge risks, and some of them frankly just need to just keep themselves under control and watch for that late runs and those late wrecks. Down through the end, sits down through the corners here still. Everyone in a hot pursuit to just keep their momentum alive. The guys, though, that are pretty surprisingly in the very back of the outhouse here, Aaron Smith in the 1 and Chris Pfeffer in the 46, as well as Doug Wysocki in the 34 and the 7 of David E. Brown. Brown, though, in that last lap there, the first stage, actually almost found himself in the worst possible position and almost seeing his season completely collapse. Right now, anyway, this is definitely not helping out his points racing. To kind of work with him a little bit. You heard him say earlier, I'm going to make Lady Luck work with me, not the other way around. Well, I think he might have forgotten that that doesn't quite work out all the time. Fields currently relaxed, a little bit more pressured. I think they're really kind of playing chicken with one another more than anything. Trying to see who will make it quick. McCann right now still being very obsolete, very under control, under the weather here, keeping a close eye, close eye I should say, not guy, what is a guy, keeping an eye out on that 33 of Kevin McCann here, trying to make sure that he is not going to do anything too crazy, too out of the ordinary here, which really I wouldn't expect anything from him like that, although he's had a habit before of making his brother's life a little bit harder on him and a little bit more crazy here, but I'll tell you one guy that's trying to help out for sure. It is definitely Cook Quick in that number 54. His goal and his work right now is point blank and simple. They're trying to get that number 2 in a chance to win out this race, and now we have a very unique circumstance coming up here. As stage number 2 is going to be really put into a very tough little spot. Chris Mefford crashed out, causing the caution to come on out. But what the heck happened here? Came off the back all the way here, and that's where the wreck had started from. And looks like Wally was trying to make a pass in the 5. Oh! How many times has Wally been involved in a situation like this now? And this is he's been given the EOL, by the way, for those that are wondering at home, but this is a bit of a unique situation here to see what happened with 46. David E. Brown earlier knows what Chris Medford went through here, but Again, it looks like Wally was trying to get a push and then trying to get a draft and then end up clipping the 46. But one thing that was actually smart though, you saw Wally actually go to the left, then go right. You saw him actually go back to the right because he was actually trying to get the 46 to spin to the left rather than going to the right and then causing both Mefford and David E. Brown's championship seasons to go up in flames here. So say what you will about that whole circumstance and situation, but that was actually brilliant strategy and maneuvering on the face of Wally. So good on him there. I'll give him that any day of the week and twice on Sunday. As we now join in here with Doug Wysocki here in the number 34. And Dougie, that's been quite the season and quite the experience to say the least for this crew. But as usual, as you always say, we're looking to have some fun. And what a better place to have fun at than old Daytona Beach there, huh?
It's a lot of fun. I lost that draft early, man. I don't know what I was doing. I was looking down at my relative for a minute. I looked up and they were gone. So I got lucky.
You got lucky, and then of course I know a lot of positioning and a lot of foot holding here now down for the track. With the way this is starting to shape up and the way this is starting to be cooked more in, I gotta ask you, I mean, really, what is going to be the overall positioning to really stay in draft?
I'm just going to ride. I'm just riding right here and trying to stay out of the guys, whether it's in the playoffs. I don't want to create no issues there. But at the end, I think every man for himself. It should be exciting.
It certainly is indeed. Well, nevertheless, here we do appreciate coming on board here. Best of luck as we get ready to reel them back up.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys. You're doing an awesome job up there.
I appreciate it. Doug Wysocki, ladies and gentlemen, number 34, taking some time and chat with us here. Another guy we're going to chat with now about this season, this race, is going to be the number 94, Troy Radford. And Radford, going into tonight, really, it's been a must-win scenario, and this is an absolute must-give-it your heart and soul kind of race, isn't it?
I mean, it is, and there are guys out there, and honestly, those are the guys that absolutely have to win this race are the ones that scare me. So I am in, despite getting wrecked out of the last two races, but I am currently in. So as long as somebody in 5th through 8th doesn't win, I should be okay, but that's kind of a really dangerous spot to be in.
Yes, it is indeed, and we have seen that you are locked in with the top 4 at the moment, but this race, of course, could change on a dime, like you just said there, and actually give them the other way to work around. So, with that being set in stone, how difficult is it for you and your crew to kind of avoid that trouble and really avoid being put into that scenario late into the run?
I mean, that's just the whole thing. Is I'm intentionally not leading the race. You know, a couple of the guys up there look like they got a few more horsepower than anybody else. So it's kind of hard to race for the lead if you wanted to. But trying to not put myself in a position where I'm gonna be wrecked because I can't afford that. So it's one of those where I hate to say like try for a third through 5th and hope for the best, but that's kind of what that's kind of the situation we're going to be in coming down to the white flag. Like I told my guys, this run to the end of this stage doesn't really scare me so much. It's the final 5 laps that are going to be real hairy.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, Radford, I know the positioning and the strategy is now in your ball court, so we'll let you ride it out and figure out what happens here, but best of luck, bud.
Yeah, thank you, bud.
Troy Radford here in the 94. You hear it in his voice, you can hear it in his field of vision. He is destined and focused to stay away from putting himself into a hampered and bad spot. But will he be able to avoid it? That remains to be unknown. We're coming up on the final laps here of stage number 2 here. We still got a few to get to lap 75. Off the distance into turn number 4 on that front straightaway. Down to the green. Lights are on and we're home and ready to go. Now positioning starting to be key here. Drivers moving around a little bit, looking for some openings and looking for some places to stay out of. Brandon Everett, the A3, going up top side here, trying to avoid any issues there. And he'll drive it back down on the bottom here, trying to work with his team, with his family member Chris Mefford, as Mefford had gotten the caution thrown out due to Chris Wally giving him a tag and a half and a little spin or two. Quick patiently awaiting a momentum or a shot in the dark. You can see the distance is starting to stretch out. Everyone looking for an opening, looking for a chance to get the elusive bonus points. They have only 31 laps left this entire race, but a mere 6 left in this stage. Stage number 2 could make or break the difference here. Chris Medford following back in line. He's trying to get in that draft. He's going to try to stay on the draft line on the bottom while Aaron Smith goes up top, and he's just trying to move and chains up a little bit with these guys. Not getting very many openings, not getting very many opportunities, so you can see the laps are starting to click away, and he's getting closer to Troy Radford. You saw earlier on, we talked about his focus and his determination here, and he's just looking to stay out of trouble, but Neil Quick, number 2, has no regard for that. He needs to win this. Waiting for the right opportunity to strike big and strike hard for that bonus points. Tim Schofield, Kevin McCann, and Brian McCann were in the same position earlier in stage number 1, getting Brian the points he needed to lock in for sure into that final 4. Aaron Smith getting a big break here as the number 2, Neil Quick, try to get something going here, and it looks like Neil's either going to have to work with someone he's not too fond of right now, or he's going to have to deal with what's going on now. That being the 46, Chris Medford going to the bottom here. He just swings it right down below of it. Cook Quick was trying to get up there and help him out, but he was not able to succeed there. Smith now right in front of Neil Quick, looking to help. Trying to give him some kind of opening, trying some kind of leeway. Brandon Medford needs to move up a little bit. Going to try to get something going with that 2 camp. It's not going to help though enough. Positions are starting to become crucial, and they are starting to become 1 in a million last lap positions. Starting to put into the minds of Chris Medford, Neil Quick, as well as that 7 to David E. Brown. Schofield at this point just kind of cruising with the McCanns, trying to keep them in. To work with. David Brown now coming on the outside. He needs some help, and he needs a push and a charge up. Laps left at stage number 2. Aaron Smith is in a very tough area because now he's got someone who needs help. He's got someone behind him who wants all the help he can get. Troy Radford also looking very, very carefully to that outside. He either works with the team to get them going on the go, or he's going to try to just stay away from putting himself in a bad spot. Does he want the bonus points though? That's the biggest question. Is he going to try to make a run on Schofield coming on the line here with only 2 laps to go? It'll be 1 lap left in stage number 2, coming straight to the end. 1 more lap left in this. As Cook Quick and Neil Quick are going to strategize a strategy here for that final ring of the race. Schofield in the back of the pack of Kevin McCann and Brian McCann right now, looking to just try to hold on. One more time by here. Radford maybe setting it up. Schofield trying to avoid it. Radford, if he can get the bonus points, he can lock himself in and give himself a much easier chance. But he knows Chris Medford is going to be in desperation mode too. It's anybody's guess here. They'll fire him off one more time by. Radford is going to the outside. He's going to try to go for broke. As they string him to the end of the line, not enough time, not enough speed. It's going to be a charge and a half there. but not enough for Radford to get around Schofield. He'll have to go fourth as Schofield will take third. And Brian McCann already locked himself in with that stage win number 1. Well, stage number 2, he just gets some extra bonus. This, race fans, has set up an immersive and a crazy final stage for all involved. But who is going to be the one to come out on top? We're going to find out when we come back. A Final Four will be crowned here on PTM Racing TV. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, here at Daytona International Speedway, presented in part by our friends at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R and R Racewear, the official merchandise store and of IROC Challenge Series, as well as the iRacing Challenge Series. A big thank you to them and their support, and be sure to get your merch today. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. By Track Time Entertainment. And by 5-Star Graphics. A very, very big thank you from the IROC Challenge Series, as well as us here on PTM Racing TV. We cannot thank you enough for your support. This is the third caution. Only one caution has come out, but it was not a stage break, which was the unfortunate issue for Medford and them. But ever since then, it's been pretty much fight for your right, fight for your survival, and hope for the best. And that's the way we like it. We're going to let the drivers be left alone here as the field gets set to go back into the pace and back in positions. Now the pits position being put into play and put onto the track here, but Cook and Neal, they really use that strategy to their fullest. They know what they must do. Neal is in a must win. So now, a mere 21 laps remain when we come back to the green. And literally, a who's who of drivers trying to make it to that final 4 slots and only 2 spots left. Thanks to McCann's stage points wins and the fact Smith pretty much kind of came in here locked in to begin with. Really didn't even need a race, but he came out and still put it up on the track here and came out to race it out with them. So I gotta at least give him credit for that, but at this point I think he's just gonna try and play spoiler so he can lock himself in positions for the final pack there. one last opportunity and one last chance to possibly make or break your season. Do you choose to go for it all and risk it all to make a championship hunt? Or do you hope for the best and that lady luck will give you the break you need to make it in? This time, by race fans, we send our drivers off for one last battle, one last chance to make it to the final four. 2 spots open. Who wants it more? We're about to find out. Green is out. Charge them up. Send them on their way. And send them down. Bring it all up for grabs. Neil Quick in the number 2, working with the 54 Cook Quick right now, trying to set himself up. Cook Quick knows Neil must, and I mean must, win to make a chance for this. Troy Radford right now looking ahead at what his opposition is at, where his positions are. I don't think he's too worried about Neil. I think he's more worried about Chris Mefford back behind him, as well as David E. Brown and Brandon Mefford. Those are going to be the guys I think he's going to watch for. Coming up through the ranks now, Aaron Smith up top. He's falling way back behind the pack here. I think he's trying to avoid any circumstances or any situations here. He doesn't really want anything to do with it. Who's who positions and a who's who drivers right now finding themselves in yet another innocuous position and another crazy ordeal to round out with. Coming up on the outside here right now, double foul for Wally, leading some boys in for a charge here. Coming up on the edges here now. This is the tight track racing most fans come to expect, come to know. This is the tight, close corners here, open for chances here. 18 laps left to go. Neil Quick right now trying to work with Cook Quick to try to hold on, try to hang on. But again, if Cook has to go to the outside, or has to get or give number 2 the outside, you know where it really is going to really be put into. It's a very tough spot to really find yourself in, and it's one you really don't even know where to begin with. And then now take it down back to a 3 wide. So again, Aaron Smith off pace, and Radford having to fight for his survival to hang on. Radford is locked in if he finishes where he's at because of everyone else in their positions. But again, it is just such a unique and circumstantial situation to be put into. They want to make it big and they want to make for broke, but there's so much on the line. Coming through now, look on the bottom, look out for runs. Troy Radford the 94. Gonna try to make it move, trying to make a groove there. The 7, David Brown though, making a big move off there, coming on to turn number 2. And this is just getting crazier and crazier. You just never know what to expect, who's going to get this. Radford now up top side, using Brandon Medford a little bit of a workaround, trying to help him out, trying to get something going. Neil Quick literally seeing his racing position being put into jeopardy here because the guy's coming up quick right with him. Troy Radford, the 94, is back on place, back on position here. Radford with a huge push and a huge shove from that 83 to Brandon Medford. Now leads in the back. He's got the race lead and he's got a playoff position finally fixed in and locked up. A Final Four berth is in his sights if he can just hang on. Neil Quick watching his hopes come back around. Brandon Medford now in this fight as well. It is anybody's race with the championships on the line. Brandon Medford, where he's at right now, would be just a few points out. It wouldn't be enough. He would need Neil Quick and as well as Chris Medford, his own family member, to be put back a few spots. David E. Brown's too far in there as well, so he would be able to pretty much put him into position here. A who's who and a mess of a clutter here, just trying to hold on, trying to hang in with it. These guys absolutely knowingly have found themselves in the worst dire straits and the dire spots here to hang with it. And they are just waiting for something. Waiting for an opening, waiting for a help, anything they can get. Go Quick now up on the outside. Brandon Medford. The Medford's back at it. The Quicks now coming right in. They're looking to try to help each other out. Cook with a little bit of a nudge there from Neil. And Cook now is coming right up in here. Cook and Neil right now working again, trying to hang on while Radford and Medford, Brandon that is, right in the mix. Cook getting a great jump on the outside, got a good push, and a huge bump there on the back straight away from the two. Neil trying, and I mean trying to get that last leg up. They're so close to one another. Cook Quick sent up the bottom lane. Is he trying to slow the pack down a little bit? You gotta wonder yourself with this strategy. Is he trying to make things more difficult? Neil, though, that snap lock steering these X10 cars have is finally starting to show itself on this extremely difficult 2.5 mile long track. Neil having some problems. He was able to settle him back down and counteract the steering. Time running out. Radford, you said earlier, he just needs to finish in the 3rd spot, and that'll lock him up. He's going to get locked in where he's at right now. He's in 4th. A lot of guys right now trying to get desperate, trying to make some moves. But one wrong push, one wrong move, and it could be game over. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final 10 laps here at Daytona. Tom Schofield up top side, getting pumped around a little bit, being punted a bit. Kevin McCann 33 trying to work with him a little more, trying to help him out, play spoiler at that number 2, Neil Quick. Schofield up top side. He can go to the bottom if he so desires. Will he join them on the bottom? He's starting to shift the weight down a little bit. Starting to make it a little bit more interesting. Actually kind of played both sides there for a minute though, but Kevin McCann bringing him right back up on the outside. Schofield yet again now getting huge bumps and runs here from the 33 of Kevin McCann. Again, the draft package with these cars, forcing guys to do this, but also at the same time forcing a very unique circumstantial run, and it makes things so much more interesting to say the least here in this late half. Late stage is popping up and late opportunities being put in. Schofield really looking to be the absolute spoiler of this entire race. Yeah, he still hasn't got a race window on PTM Racing TV either here this season, so I mean at the same time, he wouldn't mind it. He's had all sorts of bad luck this entire go around. I think he really feels like he's Oh, this is starting to get a little bit more interesting. You can see the outside is drafting harder and harder. They're giving it a huge run. Trying to take down the bottom lane, but you can just see when you go the outside and you got that kind of run, you best be very careful because you never know what can happen next. Neil Quick now telling Cook, get me pushing, get this run going. We need to stay with it. 7 to go. Schofield waiting for them to come up right at it. Spotters being put to good use here. Quick, a little bit of a hit there on the back of the pack of Neil Quick. Neil got a little bit shifty there, got set up a little, had to avoid trouble. There's a mere 7 laps left to go here, and you can just see the outside line. Usually you don't see too much of it. Here at Daytona being put to good use, being put to full extent. Which one wants to go to the bottom quicker than the other? Chris Wally pulls the spotter here yet again, goes right below with Neil Quick. He's either going to try to help Quick or he's going to make his life a little bit harder. Forced for wear. Schofield, though, has a huge lead with 6 to go. A huge lead by Daytona standards, and Aaron Smith now, well, isn't any surprise he was going to try to play that spoiler of the Cats here. He is getting this big yellow up front, up into the pack. The 3 of Brian McCann kind of keeping his distance in. Everybody watching their tone, watching their maneuvers, but evasive actions may be needed here. Guys getting put way back in. Evasive action indeed, though, by Neil Quick. Moving right up there around Brandon Medford. You saw him literally almost take that 83 right rear fender off of that car. How he was able to avoid it is beyond me. That is a technical moving and credibility there, to say the least. Medford now going to the bottom, trying to get Wally to help him out. Radford to the bottom as well. He needs this position. He needs to keep Brandon behind him. And Brandon Medford sent back a little bit. Cook quick into the wall protection into turn number 1. Now lost all that momentum and speed here. Chris Wally trying to make his fans proud here in his hometown. But again, he's being a lap down. It's not making it any easier for these guys behind him. They are so close to just anything being put into a disaster. Oh my goodness. How the heck? Oh no! Trouble! Turn 4, there it is! Brandon Medford is upside down. Huge wreck ensuing, and Neil Quick as well involved in the wreck. They've got to head to pit road now and get the car fixed. They cannot get this put in a more of a position. Here is a Track Time Entertainment instant replay. Chris Wally literally this night has had nothing but bad luck put in his way. Car got loose and steers himself off-centered. And this just shows you this car is not easy to tame and it is not easy to work around. No matter what you say or no matter what you do, it's not the best car to master. It is one of the toughest cars to draft off and to work with here. And you can see Brandon Medford, he was trying to avoid the contact, and this is where he gets into a huge wreck and a huge situation here with the 54 Cook Quick. Man, just what a wild, wild wreck he suffered there. Thankfully, he has the Mr. Repair ready to go. The green-white checkered one's kind of obvious. It's going to be put into order here in a minute, but just goes to show you how treacherous this last couple laps were getting and how much pressure was being put on these guys. The end is near, and these drivers are finding themselves in the closest proximity. This will be a final chance for 2 drivers to make it to the final 4. Smith and McCann are in, but which will be the rest? So the stage is set. Green, white, checkered attempt, number 1 coming up. What a predicament, what a position to find yourself in if you wanted to make it into this final chance, this final opportunity. Final 5 are going to be, top 5 are going to be up on your screen now, race fans. For Troy Radford, it's just a matter of finishing in the good position to keep his top 4 spot locked in. For David E. Brown, a win here and a bad positioning for Chris Mefford and the rest of the crew could literally change this race entirely for him. He's going for broke to make it to the final 4 to get to Auto Club and then challenge Brian McCann and Aaron Smith for sure in their element. For Chris Mefford, he finds, well, Chris Mefford, wait a minute. Where is Chris Mefford? Chris Mefford is not in this race now. Chris Mefford has literally been knocked out. Something has gone wrong down for the 46. He's now in the 12th position. This race has literally now been thrown any which way to Sunday. We're going back to green flag, but who the heck's even going to win this thing? Chris Medford's season championship hopes lie in the balance of the guys up front. I am stunned. I am absolutely stunned right now. He was only up by about 12 points from Bradford, and David Brown only up by about another 20 points or so. This could change everything. If David can win this race and have a good finish, he might be able to actually jump into that spot. He's right behind Kevin McCann. He's looking for an opening. He's a must-win situation. You know who also isn't a must-win? It's that 2, Neil Quick. Coming to the line. We're going to the white flag this time on by. It's anybody's race. The points will dictate. We'll give you the final results on Twitter coming in the next couple days. But as we bring him off down on the edges here in turn 1 and down turn number 2. Firing him up, firing in position. Everybody packed, stacked. They're racked up again. Neil is in trouble. Radford blocking him. Quick has to punt Radford out of the way a little bit. Now Lady Luck is going to give him a bad hand if he can't hang on. David Brown looking for it. Looking for the momentum. Looking for the chance. The opportunity sets in. He's got a chance. Can he get a run though late in the speed? He's put back behind. Tim Schofield and the number 12 will win this race as they wreck up to the line. And Troy Radford's going to finish 9th out of the finish, and David Brown goes 5th. Neil Quick is done. His season's over with. David E. Brown and Troy Radford, their fates will be decided here in just a little while, but with Chris Medford out of this race entirely now, going 13th, that may change everything. But race fans, his first win of the season, and maybe the biggest one of all, and plays a huge spoiler to go along with it. Tim Schofield in the number 12 will win this one out, and his brethren, the number 3, Brian McCann, coming down with him to tell him, congratulations, you've earned it, my friend. This is surreal. Schofield even knew going into this race, his championship hopes were pretty much all but locked off, but from what I understand, I don't believe there was a race win or in system. I could be completely wrong, but if there is, then he won that, then man, feel really bad for Schofield. I really should have called it a lot better than that, but this is honestly still an amazing sight to be had here, to see this driver finally, after moments of pretentious positions and bad luck all around this entire season, catches a break and finally can get away with one here. Your top 3 will join me in a minute, race fans, but here is your final results. Tim Schofield, the biggest win yet of his career, and the one he's been looking for so long. Kevin McCann goes 2nd, 3rd, Aaron Smith, 4th to Brian McCann. David Brown went for everything and got 5th. Cook Quick, not in the same spot I think his family member Neil wanted to be in, and it's over for the Quick family. Napier goes 7th, 8th to Neil Quick, and it's really a sad tale, to say the least. From a regular season high to the playoff lows, it just shows you how cruel the sport can be. Troy Radford goes 9th and 10th to Ray Radford to round out the top 10. Brandon Medford's out for sure. Chris Medford is questionable right now with this positioning and performance. We'll see later on, but right now, race fans, we're going to talk with the top 3 drivers here. And one driver that is for sure locked in the top 4 is this number 1 driver, Aaron Smith. Aaron, right now, you came into today in Daytona looking to just simply put the laps down and put yourself into the position you are in now. And now with this top 3, of course, you are locked in completely. I got to ask you, my friend, the championship's on the line. What is going through your mind there when you get to Auto Club?
I'm pretty optimistic about my chances. I'm pretty good at Auto Club in these cars, and I had some experience last night. Ran these cars at Auto Club there last night, and did pretty well there. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fun race.
Looking forward to it indeed here. Now, I know obviously you and Brian McCann have had a war of words with the cars and the war of words of the track here, and this place, you know, at Auto Club could be the difference maker and the opportunity to really settle your score. But I mean, you two are both looking to become the only drivers to ever win 2 championships in the season. The long-running format we've had, does pressure kind of add on to you a little bit as well for that?
I mean, when you say it that way, yeah. But I'll think of it as just another race next week, and hopefully that'll work out in my favor.
Well, that's kind of why we got it out of the way now, talk to you about it. So, but nevertheless, here as you come away third out of the bunch, who do you want to thank here, sir?
I'd like to thank all the folks at the IROC Challenge for putting the show on, you for broadcasting, all the folks for watching. Looking forward to seeing if I can get it done at Auto Club.
We cannot wait to see it. Congratulations, making it to the Final Four, and we'll catch you next time out here, Aaron.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Smith, a Final Four playoff driver, locking himself in the right time, in the right places. Really coming away big with this one today. Coming away second out of the bunch here, a driver we're not unfamiliar with coming into podiums, and that, of course, is the man in the 33, Kevin McCann. And Kevin, congratulations once more on a second place finish. But, you know, this was a bit of a wild little reg race here. It's a little bit of a little battle off for this crew. You had to really charge up and help out Tim Schofield, and boy, did that really work out in the long run for this.
Yeah, that was the plan all along. I had no skin in the game, and Tim needed to win to get in the playoffs or for the final race here. So I just decided kind of early on we were just gonna do whatever I could to try to help him get there if we were together at the end, and just happened to be, and made that top side work there at the end, and it was a good battle towards the end there, but that high side, and we were hooked up together. It's gonna be tough to get around us.
It was definitely tough to get around it. Definitely tough to really be put into that same position and over again. And speaking of positions, you and Brian McCann obviously had to work hard to keep him in that championship hunt. And of course, he locked in with that stage win. But with Schofield, I think I may have misread something here. Is it also that it's with Schofield this race win that is what locked him in? It's a win you're in system, right?
Yes, yeah, you win, you're in. So that locked him in.
Okay, so Schofield, just heads up, I apologize very much in advance. I should have made a better call on that. So, but we'll talk to him in a minute about that. But nevertheless, Kevin, as we get ready to talk the end of this race here with Tim, I mean, you still had a podium finish, sir. So who do you want to thank for all that?
Yeah, just thank all the organizers, Chris Wally, Brian Reek, and all the sponsors, R&R Raceware, Spartan Logistics, all those guys that come on board, and just thank my teammates there. Brian and Tim put on a good show, had a good finish.
For sure there. Well, Kevin, congratulations on our podium finish, man. Well deserved and well earned here.
All right, thank you.
Kevin McCann here in the number 33, coming away out of the bunch here, helping a brother out and helping him to the biggest moment of his career. Ladies and gentlemen, the race winner, and now that I finally confirmed it, is a playoff driver. A Final Four has now been given to you, Schofield, and what a way to go out with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. And it didn't hurt to have the McCanns behind me this race, no doubt.
Probably not, but at the same time, I mean, Kevin pretty much helped get Brian in there, then helps you get in there a little bit, but you still had to hold that line and hold this car in play for that momentum boost, that win. Tell me, man, did this race really, in your mind, give you what you needed and what you really feel like in your mind deserve for all these troubles you've been through this entire season?
Well, I certainly don't deserve to be fourth in points given the difficulties I've had learning this car, keeping it under control all season. It's been a long road, and I'm grateful for the support I had with the McCanns this race. They stuck with me the whole time. I know there's a lot better drivers than me that were knocked out tonight because of it. But I'm grateful. It was a great first win.
It was a great first win and probably the biggest one to date, but there is still one more to go, and that is at Auto Club Speedway. I'll just ask you this real quick as point blank. Do you feel like you got some speed there maybe for these guys?
Hey, internet drops out all the time, so you never know. It's going to be tough to get by the McCanns and Aaron next week, that's for sure. So definitely going to show up and do the best I can and see what we can do.
Certainly indeed. Schofield, anybody else you want to thank before we sign off tonight?
Yeah, I don't get interviews very often, so I got to take this opportunity to thank my smoking hot wife, Leah, and my two girls who are sleeping tonight. Leah lets me do this on a weekly basis, and sometimes it's not so easy for her chasing a toddler around and getting a baby down to sleep at night. So thank God for her, and thanks to my mother-in-law, who also has helped out to allow me to race in this league. Thanks for Chris Wally for setting this up, and all the sponsors for all the support they give, and thank you for the broadcast.
Schofield, I mean, I did tell Kevin earlier that I kind of misconstrued it. I didn't even know you were actually a win in your in system. So I hope the call still is probably good as you wanted to hear. But I could probably think I've probably kind of messed that up on my end. But nevertheless, you are a Final Four, and you have all but earned and deserved this one, man. Best of luck at Auto Club next week.
Thanks a lot.
Dip Schofield, ladies and gentlemen, the number 12 is going to go to the Final Four, and what a way to go out with it. I really, really wish I kind of thought about that race win you're in system, so I'm going to apologize to everybody right up front. They did tell me a while back that was in there, and I think I've mentioned it here on the show before, but come at me for that one. I apologize. That's my own fault. Anyway, Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loudpail Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and 5-Star Graphics. Thank you for everything. Thank you to the fans for tuning on in. For all of us here at PTM Racing TV, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Daytona, you did not disappoint. And at Auto Club, will we see a new champ crown, or will we see a new face crowned in it? We'll give you guys a full heads up on the Final Four before we get to there. We'll see what happens between David Brown and Troy Radford on the points wise, and Chris Medford as well. But till then, we'll see you guys when the green flag flies here on PTM Racing TV.